Okay, let's talk. Hookup culture is literally everywhere. Apps, clubs, and even brunch sometime. Like you go for eggs and mimosa, and the next thing you know, someone's sliding to your DM. Some people out here thriving in it, loving it, and owning it. Some people not so much. They feeling kind of destroyed by it, wrecked by it. And here's the rest of us just trying to figure out why a guy kiss you like he loves you. I literally choked myself. I don't know why. Anyways, and then there's the rest of us just trying to figure out why a guy kiss you like he loves you and then poof, never talk to you again. So is hookup culture fun, freeing, sexy, or it's low-key messing on mental health? I have been in it. I had moments where I felt confidence, hot, sexy, like empowered. And I have had moments I came home and thought, why do I feel so empty? So that's what I want to talk about today. The hookup culture. No shade, no judgment here, just some honest, real thoughts. Hi boyfriends and new boyfriends. If you guys new here, it's John Cizo. That's my little fun nickname, but my real name is Jonathan. Welcome to my little chit chat corner. I don't know if this setup is cool, cute. I definitely planning to have some kind of sitting chit chat with you once every 2 weeks. No real plans yet. I'm working on it. Welcome to the fam, by the way. Go back to our topic today. What even is a hookup culture? Well, basically, most of us know that it's casual sex. It's short-term connections, a little to no commitment. It's all about freedom, right? Explore your body, no strings, no expectations, but it's not always that simple though. And it's very common in a gay culture. We have got Grindr, Scrub, Tinder. Hookups are literally just a few taps away. And to be honest, I don't think we should blaming on these hookup apps. The main purpose of these apps are for us to connect with people. And how will we connect with people? That depends on us. And you possible, meet your boyfriend. And also at the same time, you might even get killed at somebody's house. Well, I don't want to get into that. But now today, we have sniffies. This is something else. I know you know what it is now, so I don't need to tell you what it is. It's very wild, and I think the app or the browser, I don't know. Do they have an app? Like, very exclusive for just hookup and cruising. It's a lot. It's a lot to go deeper. We probably gonna talk about that later on. We'll see. I don't know. I don't think we should judging people if this person or that person have a lot of sex or hookups a lot. Let me tell you something. We are human. If they're doing this in the healthy way, they are allowed to do that. A lot of people, they're very sexual. They can have a lot of sex. We were horny dogs when we was in our 20s. And everybody's different. A lot of people, even they reach 35 or 40, they still have a lot of sex. And that is fine. I think I got into the hookup culture when I was 21 or 22. If you guys watched my previous video about my exes, I have mentioned that when I was around this age, I got into the scene, starting going out more, and of course I meet a lot of people, and honestly I did have a lot of sex. At the time I had this expectation. If I was seeing somebody or I was dating somebody, I expect this person have to have sex with me 4 or 5 times a week. Now, sitting here talking and thinking back about it, like, that's a lot of sex. We are super horny when we was young, young and full. So, I was young, figuring myself out, and still looking for validation. Honestly, a lot of time it wasn't even about the sex for me. It was about the feeling wanted. Even it was just for one night, or it was just for an hour, or even less. I will be on the app swiping, meeting people, chasing this little hit off. Like, okay, people find me attractive. People want me. I matter. And it feels good. Especially if you've been carrying self-doubt around for a long time. But the thing is, that high doesn't last though. So will we go back for more? Another tab, another meetup again and again. We're not even sure if we're doing it because we want to or because we just need that little boost to feel okay for a minute. And that's when it starts getting a little addictive. But everything has pros and cons, right? So let's talk about the fun side of the hookup culture. Let's give it some credit. I'm sure a lot of us find it very fun. It's not all bad. For one, it lets you explore your body, explore your desires without needing a relationship. You get to call the shots on your body and do things on your terms. Like you feel free to do whatever you want. And yeah, it's definitely can boost your confidence too. Temporary though. I don't know about the long term. And if you do rely on the long term to feel okay, maybe that's a sign something deeper is going on there. I don't know. For some people, it genuinely is fun. Again, there's no shame in that. It can actually help you figure out what you want, what you don't want. There's no rule book for us gay and queer relationship. So a lot of us learning through our trial, mistake, and a lot of awkward one night stands. Personally, I have learned a lot from the hookups about my body, my boundaries, my preferences, what feels good, what doesn't, what I'm okay with, and what I'm not willing to compromise on anybody. And every once in a while, there are those rare moments that it just feel right and it works. The energy is mutual, the respect is there, boundaries don't need to over explaining. I remember one time I left someone's place feeling lighter, better. That was fun. I felt safe. I didn't have to second guess of anything. And that feeling, that clarity, that's what I want. But this is a trick part because you felt good. In that moment, y'all also have a thought of, oh, maybe there's something more in this with this person. And that's how a lot of us catch feeling after a hookup, a good hookup. When you have this type of feeling, you need to stop chasing them. Stop chasing this feeling. You know it's good, and in your mind, just know that that was just a hookup. You know that you met this person on a hookup app, nothing else. And if you continue chasing this feeling, it's gonna stuck in your head. And that's how it gets you. And I remember this person. We talked for a little bit before we hook up, but we not talking every day. We just talking here and there. We just never plan to meet up. So one day we just decide to meet up and that happened. So yeah, hookups and always bad. Sometimes they exactly what you need in that moment. But that also a catch. How they affect you really depends on where you're emotional at. But if you're looking for something deeper, you're just using it to avoid something, that's when it gets dangerous, tricky, and that's we're gonna go next. The toxic side. Hookup culture can be fun, but also can be very draining, right? Confusing. And honestly, sometimes hookup can be very harmful, even though we all have a lot of good hookups out there, clarity, boundaries, and nothing else, just a hookup. But also at the same time, we do have nights where we leave somebody's place and feel empty. Not because anything bad happened, but because it was all about just, all surface level. The body was there, the rest wasn't. I remember one time I get home, sitting in my bed and think they didn't actually see me. Not really. Not real connection, not care, just two people using each other, either to feel something or to avoid feeling something else. And after for a while, it's starting to mess with how I saw myself. I am actually okay with being once only physically. And if I'm honest, sometimes I wasn't. I just didn't know how to say it. And the way I see myself was horrible. What am I doing to myself? I just let people using me, and how it is make me feel value myself. Because nowadays hookup is just not just one person though. It can be a gangbang or cum dumb, a group sex with a lot of people. Again, there's no judgment here. I just feel like if I let this happen, I don't really love myself. I don't really value myself. When you stay in a hookup culture long enough, emotional disconnection definitely start to feel normal because you just get used to being treated like you're just another option, another toy, another body, another swipe, and another numbers in your body. Do you know what I mean? I have a few friends that in OnlyFans industries, and I have a couple of them that I'm very close with. They share with me about how it's difficult for them to connect with people in reality. And one of my friends told me that he happened to go on a date with a guy and try to connect with a person, but it wasn't there. And he had a difficult time to commitment. He worked a lot and do a lot of collaboration. So he have a lot of sex with different people. So that feeling is get him addictive. When he tried to settle down and commit in a relationship, it was very hard for him. The feeling that you have sex with different people, that stick with him. But that's just a little story I want to share. Kind of relate with the emotional disconnection and also the commitment issue when you're in relationship. I mean, I would love to talk about the OnlyFans and escort topic maybe in the future. So, hookup. 1 minute it feels intense, like maybe there's something real here, and the next they gone, ghosted, disappear, and hookup over time. That for sure is gonna chips away at you. You start to feel disposable, like was we a person to them or just a distraction, and the worst part is that hollow feelings afterward. I have gone through phases with hookup culture, and I'm sure we all have. Like, there was time I genuinely loved it. The rush, the flirting, the excitement, the feeling of being wanted, the freedom of it all. There's something intoxicating about that kind of tension, especially if you haven't really felt seen in a long time. It's like this little spark that say, yeah, I still got it. And there was night, I remember clearly, I came. Oh my god. Oh my god, I think that's a bad accident. I see the car is slowing down now. I hope everybody okay. But I was constantly, seeking validation, from people who didn't even know me. If someone ghosted me, I took it personally. Like, what did I do wrong? Am I not enough? And if someone said a night, I will cling to that. And hopefully maybe it meant something more. And when it didn't and I realized it was just one night thing, I'll start spiral. I feel insecure. I just questioning every a little thing. It's crazy. Like, I felt small. And what actually helped? I slow the hell down. So to answer the question, is hookup culture fun or it's toxic? I mean, honestly, it depends, right? It depends on your mindset, depends your intentions and where you're at emotionally. And if you're clear about what you want, and if you going into it with honesty and self-awareness, and you're not abandoning your needs or value just to be wanted. And yeah, it can be fun, it can be freeing. There's nothing wrong with enjoying connection and a pleasure when there is mutual and respectful. That's what we all want. But if you're doing it to fill a void, or you're using it to numb something you haven't dealt with, chasing the validations because you don't feel enough on your own, and that's when it gets dangerous, and that's when it gets hurt. There's no amount of the attentions from random people or strangers can heal what you don't or refuse to give yourself. Does that make sense? And I myself had to learn that the hard way. Hooking up isn't the problem, and it's not really toxic, but using it to run from your loneliness or the parts of yourself that feel unloved, that's where it takes something from you instead of giving something to you. And eventually it leaves you emptier than when you started it. I know this is a complicated topic, especially in gay culture, where hookup are so normalized. And this is not me pretending that I have all the answers. I'm just sharing my truth in case someone out there needs to hear. If you ever walked away from something that was supposed to be fun and end up feeling confused, disappointed. You're not weird, you're not broken. You're just human, like we all are. And let me tell you one thing about your worth. Your worth is not defined by who or how many guys want to sleep with you. That's not your worth. You can feel positive because a lot of people want you, but do they actually really want to get to know you though? Or they just want your body? You need to know the difference. Again, I'm not here to shame anyone. I have been there. I still have moments and I completely get the appeal. I also think we need to have these conversations more openly because yeah, maybe it's feel good for a moment, for a night, but what about the next morning? The part that no one really talks about, the silence, the overthinking, and the loneliness. I have one tip and trick that I want to share with you, and I have been doing this for a while. I don't use the hookup apps anymore. If you really want to have a real connection and deep connection with somebody, I don't know about dating app these days, but I do feel like the dating app these days is kind of hookup apps. You can swipe right, you match with a person, and the next minute they're gonna ask you for nudes, nothing else. Me personally nowadays, I use Instagram a lot, and I have realized that Instagram is the new dating app where you can see everybody profile, right? When you see someone picture pops up on the Explorer, you click on it, you like their picture, you follow them, and you will know if they liked you back by they liking your pictures and following you back. And that's a hint that you know this person is kind of interested in you. And one of the things about Instagram is that when you go to their profile, you see what is their lifestyle. What is they interested in? Fashion, traveling, like a lot of things. There's a little thing that you can see. But of course, nowadays, a lot of people, they just post a happy picture. Like they're having amazing life. Don't expect their life is like that. Because we all don't know what is behind the scene, behind the closed door. Nobody's perfect, nobody's life perfect. But again, you don't actually know that person until you talking to them, having conversation with them and see how you connect with them. It's all through communicating, not just the pictures though. I don't know, I just think it's a new way to connect with people. Again, because you can see their profile, you see what they like, what is their lifestyle, and you see their whole profile. And nowadays on Instagram, you can see their stories, what they're doing, at this moment and that moment. Like there's a lot of things that you can explore about a person, but you get what I mean. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, any thought, any things that you want to say, please comment down below. I would love to hear from you and I read all your comments. Thank you for listening and spending time with me tonight. I hope you have a wonderful night and I will see you next time.